Hello everyone! In this video, I will tell you why I have never bought a Ducati. First of all, don't expect me to say anything bad about this brand. I have already made jokes about their supposed lack of reliability, but I actually really love this manufacturer and its products. Here, we are on Avenue de la Grande Armée, where all the major motorcycle brands have their flagship stores in Paris. When I was a teenager, my father worked nearby, and every Wednesday when I had no school, I asked him if I could go with him to his office. He was proud, thinking that his son was interested in his work, but it was actually an excuse to come here, as I always ask him at some point during the day if I can go for a stroll in the area. I loved all the motorcycles, but my absolute dream bikes at that time were the Ducati 916 and the Ducati Monster. I grew up and got my motorcycle license, but I have always kept a soft spot for Ducati. My oldest followers know that the very first bike I have ever test rode on my channel was a Ducati. And when I visited motorcycle factories in Europe, the first one I went to was Ducati's in Borgo Panigale. Even my phone wallpaper is a picture of a Ducati. It's Marc Marquez riding the Ducati Gresini in 2024. So, it's a bit surprising, even for myself, that I have never bought a Ducati. It's actually a combination of circumstances and some missed opportunities for Ducati to get a new customer. When I got my motorcycle license, I first bought a Honda CBF, as it was more suitable for beginners than all the Ducatis on the market at that time. My plan was to keep it for 2 or 3 years and then trade it for a Ducati Monster. So, the very first time I did a test ride in 2014, it was the Ducati Monster A21, and the video is still on my channel. Before the test ride, the salesman asked me when I would like to buy a new bike, and I honestly told him, I don't know, I am not in a hurry, maybe next spring. Then I test drove the bike and I really loved it. It was the first time I had ridden such a powerful bike, and during the test ride I started to think that I should buy it right now. It was a stupid decision, of course, but I was overexcited and I had the money. So, after the test ride, I asked to the salesman enthusiastically if he could give me a quote, but he answered me coldly, I don't have time now, we will see when you really want to buy it. It was rude, so I didn't insist. I thought, okay, I don't have a good feeling about the dealer, so I won't buy anything now. Let's take the time to test ride some other bikes and I will decide later. So, I did some other test rides. Meanwhile, I decided I want to keep my Honda CBF even if I buy a new bike. So I could really take my time. All my test rides allowed me to realize what kinds of motorcycle I like or dislike. In 2018, I rented a Ducati Scrambler in Mallorca, and I didn't like it much. It's a nice bike actually, but I found it way too expensive for what it is compared to its competitors. In 2021, when I bought my Triumph Trident 660, I told you the story before, I wasn't considering any Ducati at all. So, I bought my second bike, and it still wasn't a Ducati. 3 years later, in 2024, I visited the Ducati factory and museum in Italy. It reminded me how much I love this brand, its history, and its heritage. I wanted to rent a Ducati to explore the region, but I only found a Harley-Davidson available for rent. Anyway, a few weeks later, I finally rented a Ducati Monster for a road trip in the south of France. It was a Monster 937, and once again, I really loved it. I started thinking again about buying a Ducati. I heard that a new Monster was going to be introduced 1 year later, So I was waiting for this new model and I was planning to buy it. The next summer, I had the chance to test ride the Ducati Panigale V2 and I totally fell in love with it. It's too sporty for my daily use, but it strengthened even more my motivation to buy the upcoming Monster. In the fall, Ducati finally unveiled the new Monster. It's a totally new bike, but it looks pretty similar to a previous model. I wasn't disappointed, but I wasn't impressed either. However, at the same time, Triumph presented the Trident 800. It was a surprise, and because I was very satisfied with my Trident 660, I couldn't not consider it. So, in February, I test rode the new Monster and the new Trident 800, and I loved both of them. They are two awesome bikes, with similar performances. But the Trident is also 20% cheaper. I already had a very good experience with Triumph. I really loved this manufacturer too, so to me, this price difference isn't really justified. Of course, as the Monster has an aluminium frame and more advanced electronic systems, some will think the price difference is justified, and they will probably be right. But those things don't really matter to me. This time, the Ducati salesman was a very nice guy. He allowed me to take the demo bike for a 2-hour extended test ride, and he made me a very competitive proposal with an interesting discount. I really hesitated, but I finally went for a Trident. Anyway, it's red, like a Ducati. I absolutely do not regret my choice, as I really enjoy my Triumph. But I still love Ducatis, and I still want to own one. Maybe one day, not before a few years, but we will see.